Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Michelle Siqueiros. I am the very proud president of the Campaign for College Opportunity. And what a beautiful afternoon, not only to be in this gorgeous setting, but to be celebrating some of the most amazing, courageous, thoughtful community college leaders in the state of California. Let's give each of you a round of applause. Thank you for joining us this evening. This is our first inaugural Excellence in Placement event, and my team has been incredibly excited by the opportunity to celebrate the very important work that is happening at each and every one of your campuses. Many of you know that our mission at the Campaign for College Opportunity has been to ensure access to a college education for all Californians, to advocate for fair and equitable admissions to our colleges and universities, and to ensure that when our students get to a campus in our state, that they are supported to succeed. And that can't happen if we don't have equitable placement for students when they arrive at your campus. As many of you have told me, community college students don't show up to take remedial courses. And more importantly, what the research has shown all of us is that if they are placed in those courses, as my colleague likes to say, that is where college dreams go to die, because they are not going to succeed. They're not going to get a certificate. They're not going to transfer. What the research and the faculty advocates and leaders who have championed AB 705 and remedial placement reform in California have demonstrated is that with the right supports, students can succeed in those college-level courses. And now there's proof in the research that that is the case, because you all are trailblazing the way in showing us that that's the case. So thank you for your leadership, for everything that you do to put students first and center at each of your campuses. I really want to thank our sponsors, because the reason we're able to celebrate tonight and to give you the proper celebration you each deserve is because of supporters that made tonight possible. The ECMC Foundation, Quinn Delaney, Cal State San Bernardino, the James Irvine Foundation, East LA Foundation, Cal State LA, Reese Foods, Cal State Long Beach, Fresno State, Sacramento State, Union Bank, and US Bank, as diverse a group of sponsors as each of you here today. I always like, and I think it's important to center our events with students, because that is the reason we do what we do. So I'm excited to introduce one of our incredible student leaders in the state of California, Leonardo Rodriguez. He is a first-generation college student majoring in political science. He has focused on student issues. He's held a student trustee position for Mendocino College. He's a student member on the California Community College Board of Trustees, as well as a governor appointee for the California Student Aid Commission. Leonardo became the first undocumented student to hold these positions and was recently confirmed by the state Senate. Thank you, Leonardo, for your leadership, advocacy, all in the midst of being a full-time student. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. It's such a nice day today. I haven't been in Southern California in a really long time. But today I have the honor to introduce our Lieutenant Governor, Eleni Kounalakis. Over the past year, the Lieutenant Governor has played a pivotal role in our state's higher education system and stays committed to fighting for students on issues such as affordability, access, and completion. On behalf of California students and the Campaign for College Opportunity, we'd like to thank the Lieutenant Governor for her courageous leadership and advocacy. Please join me in welcoming Lieutenant Governor.
Thank you very much. Wait, let's stand over here and take a picture. Is that all right? Thank you so much, Leonardo. Is this your phone here? Yeah. Here you go. No problem. Hi, everyone. I'm Eleni Kounalakis, Lieutenant Governor of California, and I am trying to dry my eyes a little bit, Leonardo, because you just reminded us all why we are so passionate about this work. Thank you for that beautiful introduction. Come on. Michelle, thank you very much. Every time I'm with you, every time I hear the passion in your voice, I'm inspired. But more importantly, when we sit down and work together and talk about the ways that we can make college more accessible, affordable, and equitable in our state, we listen to every word, and we are always happy to put the full force of the bully pulpit of the Lieutenant Governor behind the initiatives that are championed, first, of course, discovered and based on data and fact, and then championed by the Campaign for College Opportunity. Thank you. And I also want to recognize that Assemblywoman Jacqui Irwin is here. She's going to talk about her incredibly important work in the legislature. AB 705, a bill that I'm very honored to be able to co-sponsor. Thank you for your leadership on this as well. So for those of you who don't know my story, and maybe it's, Leonardo, why I'm so touched every time I meet someone with a story like yours, is because my own family benefited immeasurably from the system of public higher education in the state of California. Now, I went to UC Berkeley as a graduate student, and in my own way have walked the pathway of the American dream. But I always say that my father's pathway of the American dream was significantly steeper than mine. He came from Greece to the United States when he was just 14 years old, landed in Lodi, California, working as a farm worker. And he had teachers and friends at school and their parents, and he was encouraged to go off to college. He went to Sacramento State University. He worked his way through on a waiter's salary. And when I draw the lens back on our family, I think about my grandmother in Greece, who never learned to read or write, but who believed in the promise of America to let her son come here by himself as a young teenager. And that in one generation, I would be able to have the opportunities of service that I have had. It is something that is simply part of who I am. But what I have learned in having the opportunity to travel our great state, and in particular to spend so much time on our college campuses, is that this is the story of our state, and this is what makes California great. We throw open the doors of public higher education because we know we don't know where talent is going to come from. And when talent finds its way into our systems and can navigate them, anything is possible. So I just want to point out a couple of statistics here and a couple of initiatives that the Campaign for College Opportunity has promoted. Back in 2015, before, back in 2015, and we're going to talk about 705 and 1705, but even the California State University system has benefited enormously from the leadership of doing away with this layer of remedial courses. And as a result, the graduation, the four-year graduation rates at our CSUs, which is where 450,000 of our students are, those rates have significantly increased. They went from just 19% of CSU students graduating in 4 years to 33%. Now, it's still nowhere near enough. The fact that 1 out of 3 students that goes into a Cal State university graduates, only 1 in 3 in 4 years, is not enough. And I know the ongoing work of this fabulous organization is going to continue to get at the things that we can do that will improve it over time. But there has been progress. And when it comes to the community college system, there's a lot of action there. Because while there are 250,000 students in the UC system, and there are 450,000 students in the CSU system, there are about 1.8 million students in the community college system. So last year, the legislature, and my office was very proud to be involved in this, and again, with our coordination, cooperation with Michelle and her team, we advanced AB 1111, which is Common Course Numbering, because why should a marketing, introduction to marketing class at the Los Angeles CCD be a different number than at Delta College? It doesn't make sense. So now there is a requirement that all of our 116 campuses are having worked towards a consistent numbering of their courses, just to help make more sense of the system as a whole, and to also help with the process of getting those students, if they choose, into programs for a four-year degree. There's also, of course, AB 928, which improves the associate's degree for transfer program. This, as we remember, was something that Campaign for College Opportunity worked on back when Senator Alex Padilla was in the legislature, and this has been transformative to creating that pipeline, but we know more work needs to be done, and AB 928 is going to help us get there. And then just a few words about AB 705 to where we are now. You know, it really is shocking when you look at these numbers from 2015, and that in 2015, only 38% of the students enrolling in their first English class at a community college were enrolling in a class that gave them credit, and that only 21% of the students enrolling in math class for the first time were enrolled in a course that gave them college credit. Now, I don't know about you, but when I walk up to a community college, I think I'm in a college, and that has to mean that the courses there are giving you college credits. I know it was controversial before, but clearly there has been a meeting of the minds around this, and the numbers are pretty extraordinary. Because when they were measured in 2019, the number of students enrolled in English for credit went from 38 to 96, and in math from 21 to 78. Pretty amazing, right? So I know Jacqui Irwin, our Assemblywoman, is working on what's left, so I will let her talk about it, but there is still more work to be done. But here's the bottom line and how I think of it. I happen to have 2 kids in college right now. They call me, they call my husband all the time. Mom, which classes should I take? What should I major in? What do you think about this? What about that? You know, what do you think is the right course load for me? And if I'm taking this really hard course, is it okay not to take a full course load? All the time they call us and ask us this. But when you look at all of the students enrolled in public higher education in the state of California across these 3, 2.5 million, about 37.5% of them are the first in their family to go to college. Now, if I could answer these questions for every single one of our kids, I would do it. There is nothing more satisfying than helping a young person navigate their way through college. But the reality is we can't. We can do more, and we need as many counselors and advisors and supporters as and we've done a lot of good work in that space. But what we can do is make the system itself more user-friendly. simpler to navigate, just simply make more sense. And that's what these bills do. And that is what Michelle and her team work on every day. And for every kid who makes their way through the doors of our community college system, our CSU, or our UC, for every one of them, this is the greatest investment that our state can make, is tapping in to the potential of our students. People say to me all the time now, oh, people are leaving California. Well, people have been saying everybody's leaving California since the end of the gold rush, right? And look where we are today. And the fact of the matter is we have a plan to constantly regenerate our society and our economy. And that plan is investing in our students. So with that, I want to thank you, Michelle, everyone at the Campaign for College Opportunity, Assemblywoman Irwin, and every single one of you, the students and the educators who are here and who do this work every day. And of course, to all of the honorees who are being recognized here today. Thank you all, and let's keep going.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. I have to tell you that she has done so much in such a short period of time as the Lieutenant Governor. One of the first things that she did was insist that she be given a seat at the Board of Governors for California Community Colleges, because she felt that as Lieutenant Governor, she shouldn't just be a regent or just be a CSU trustee. She should be on the Board of Governors because she knows that community colleges are what makes California run. So thank you for your leadership on legislation and joining us in the fight against a proposal that the CSU had introduced to add another math requirement or quantitative reasoning to freshman admissions. She was in the trenches fighting to ensure the trustees did not adopt what had been seen as it was going to be done. And more recently, also in the fight with us to stop UC and CSU from using SAT and ACT in admissions. So when we say we're in the trenches together, she's in the trenches with us. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. I'm thrilled to introduce Jasmine Prasad, another amazing California Community College student at Folsom Lake and at San Francisco State. She's doing it all, both. She is currently the Vice President of Legislative Affairs for the Student Senate of California Community Colleges, and she has been a huge champion on equitable placement. Look, we are all here celebrating, and I know that each and every one of you are also getting a lot of pushback at your campuses around implementation of AB 705. We are not Pollyanna about the challenges that each of you are facing and the real fights that are happening. And Jasmine reminds us every single day why we have to continue that fight, because it is not okay to put a student in a course where all the research and data tell us they are not going to succeed. So Jasmine, thank you for being a champion on this issue, and welcome to the podium.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jasmine Prasad, and I'm sure many of you have read my tweets. And tonight, I am extremely starstruck and honored to introduce our next speaker. Assemblymember Jacqui Irwin was first elected in 2014 to represent California's 44th Assembly District. Assemblymember Irwin has successfully authored numerous bills, including AB 705. The bill that maximizes the probability of students entering and completing transfer-level English and math courses in a one-year time frame. It is with great honor to introduce Assemblymember Jacqui Irwin.
Well, thank you so much, Jasmine, for that kind introduction. And Leo and Jasmine, that you are really the reason that we are fighting so hard. You are the inspiration between 4705 and 1705. And I also want to extend my Deepest appreciation for the Campaign for a College Opportunity. Michelle, you and your team are truly phenomenal. It is, hard. These type of things that make a big impact are never easy, and we just couldn't do it without your advocacy and really your commitment to ensuring that all Californians have a fair shot at benefiting from higher education. It's really an honor to be able to participate in the inaugural Excellence in Placement Awards ceremony. As a legislator, we spend most of our time talking about the negative things that are going on as a state, and so it's so refreshing to be here tonight and really look at some very, very positive news. It is my pleasure to help celebrate and honor the 46 colleges that are leading the way in ensuring that students have a more equitable experience in community college that puts them on the path to more quickly succeed, and achieve their goals. It is so important to recognize and celebrate success when we do make progress on long-standing issues, because this helps continue to move the needle. Just like Lieutenant Governor Kounalakis, I was the first in my family to attend college. My parents are both immigrants. So I'm deeply connected to the campaign's mission, and I wanted to champion policy that would remove barriers to student success. In my college experience, I was often one of the few or only women in my science, math, and engineering courses. And this showed me firsthand how demoralizing and unfair it is to students to have systems in place that make certain students feel like they do not belong or cannot be successful, especially in math. Prior, as the Lieutenant Governor mentioned, prior to 705, about 80% of the students entering community college were assessed to be in need of remediation, sometimes even multiple levels below credit-bearing courses that actually counted toward their intended degree or major. For us, and I have my two of my staff members that work very hard for me in the district, Jacqui and Jeanette. For us, we were appalled to look at the numbers coming out of Oxnard College that when a student was placed in remedial classes, that those students had an 80% chance of dropping out before they ever finished a single transfer level course. And you can imagine in a community of many first-generation students, many children of farm workers that decide to take this big step that they are going to enroll in college, it is a complete tragedy when they end up dropping out. So, this has been a difficult thing to do, but when we look at the Black and Latinx students that are being placed disproportionately in these classes, we knew that we really needed to make a difference. And I want to just mention that today I was talking to Mr. McCarty, Assemblymember McCarty, about needing to have additional resources to implement 705, to look at tutoring and co-requisites and professional support. He said, I am 100% on board, because every time I hear you talking, you are talking about me. I was put in a remedial class and stuck there for a number of years. And I have to say, Jeanette, Chancellor Oakley, they all tell me stories that they understand the big effort that we are trying to make in this area. AB 705 ushered in a new era of access and completion of entry-level English and math courses at California community colleges, and successful completions of transfer-level courses are several times higher than they were prior to 705, with tens of thousands of more students now successfully completing transfer-level classes. Change is hard, but one of the hardest changes are the ones most worth making. So I want to take this moment to recognize these extremely promising improvements that would not have been possible without the tireless work of community college faculty, counselors, and administrators, and support staff across the state. All the colleges being honored this evening demonstrate immense courage and leadership, providing fantastic examples of how we can address long histories of inequities that the state often had a hand in creating. This year, I am advancing 1705 that seeks to codify the best practices that have been demonstrated to greatly benefit students by placing them directly in transfer level classes with additional support as necessary. The honorees here tonight prove what happens when we follow the data and listen to the students. Thank you again for your leadership and unwavering dedication to student success. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Assemblywoman Irwin. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for your courage and leadership and for your stamina in terms of staying on an issue. It is not every day that you find a champion in the legislature so absolutely committed to a cause and to carrying that cause out. You know, when faculty and several of you came to us to talk about the challenges you saw in terms of remedial education and the real racial and ethnic disparities that were being, you know, pervasively expanded upon in your campuses as a result, it was a difficult conversation to figure out how do we attack this important issue. And we would say, how do we make it sexy for the legislature, right? For them to understand that this, in fact, is the civil rights issue in California higher education. That it means nothing to say you can attend a campus if you're not setting up students to succeed when they attend a campus. And Assemblymember Irwin has been such an incredible ally, courageous champion. Your team has been amazing to work with. We are so grateful for you, for AB 705, and for this follow-up legislation. So thank you for being in the fight. I want to thank my team for not only putting together this incredible event. Jacqui, who many of you have been corresponding with and is still working the room, as you can see, was incredible in terms of the work to make this happen. And then at the very back, you see Vikash Reddy. He is our Senior Director of Policy Research. He is our data guru. He is the one that worked with our research team to identify the top performing colleges. And what can I say? It's amazing when you get a list, and the list is so long, of colleges that are doing a great job. And yet we know that there is more work to be done, and we are committed to that. But today we are going to celebrate each and every one of you. So I am thrilled to present the inaugural 2022 Excellence in Placement Award. These colleges have championed student success by implementing equitable course placement, practices that ensure that our community college students have the opportunity to take college-level courses and to support them, not just to take those courses, but to pass them, as outlined in our historic legislation sponsored by Assemblymember Irwin, AB 705. Together, each and every one of you are transforming the college experience for California students, and particularly for thousands, hundreds of thousands of Black and Latinx students now well on their way to earn a college degree. So the first awards and recognition goes to the campus-wide transfer-level math success. These colleges finished in the top 3 of all California community colleges in supporting their students who enrolled in transfer-level math courses to successfully complete that course within that first year of enrollment. So join me in applauding Foothill College, and we will invite Foothill College to the step and repeat with Assemblymember Jacqui Irwin. Join me in applauding Diablo Valley College. And now you get to hear from De Anza College, also an honoree. President Holmes, thank you for joining us today to share a few remarks, and congratulations.
Thank you so much, and it is such an honor to be here this afternoon. I'm Lloyd Holmes again, the president of De Anza College, and it's when we got the email that we had that we were one of the finalists, or that we were being honored, we were just elated. We oftentimes quote at De Anza the tagline in our area that's to remind us, our campus and the community, of the work that we're doing. And this tagline is Tops in Transfer. But then, oftentimes I'm asking the college, what does that mean? What does it mean to be tops in transfer when you have other students who aren't being successful in the classroom? And what are the resources that we're putting in place to support the other students? This recognition today sends a very clear message that each of the colleges being honored today is doing something right when it comes to student success and equity. I would dare say that each of us firmly believe that student success does not rest solely on the shoulders of students. We must intentionally engage in practices that ensure learning and student success. This recognition today further supports the idea that achievement in the classroom isn't merely about rigor. It isn't merely about past practices or ways of teaching. It's about engaging with students where they are and providing the necessary supports while they're sitting in the classroom with us. It's about intentionally providing an environment that supports equity and a sense of belonging for each and every student. So on behalf of De Anza College and on behalf of the other colleges here, I want to thank the Campaign for College Opportunity for the recognition today. And this is just the beginning of the work that we're doing. We can't stop now. There's much, much more for us to do. So thank you so much.
Thank you, President Holmes. And we all know that math and getting this right in math is really the big challenge for our campuses. So we look forward to continuing to learn from these exemplar colleges. Next, I'd like to recognize the campus-wide transfer-level English success honorees. These colleges are the top 3 California community colleges in supporting their students who enrolled in transfer-level English courses to successfully complete those courses within 1 year of enrollment. The first honoree is De Anza College. Join me in applauding Saddleback College. And our third campus, San Diego Miramar College. Next, I get to a much longer list of incredible work that's happening at several campus-wide transfer-level English enrollment campuses, where we are celebrating these campuses for enrolling 100% of their students directly into transfer-level English coursework. So join me in applauding Allen Hancock College, Butte College, College of the Canyons, Clovis Community College, Coastline Community College, Columbia College, Contra Costa College, Cuyamaca College, Foothill College, Fullerton College. Don't get tired of clapping, we're only halfway. Fullerton College, I think that was a repeat. Moreno Valley College, Palomar College, College of the Redwoods, College of San Mateo, Santa Ana College, Santiago Canyon College, Skyline College, West Hills College, Coalinga, and Pasadena City College. Next, I get to recognize campus-wide transfer-level math enrollment, and we are honoring and recognizing these campuses for reaching 100% enrollment in transfer-level math. If anybody tells you it's not possible, well, you know that's not true because Porterville College did it. Feather River College also did it. And Pasadena City College did it. As the only campus with 100% enrollment for math and English, Pasadena City College, I'm so proud to invite President Erica Androjonas to provide remarks today.
Well, thank you, and I'm honored to actually be here with our student trustee, David Ramirez, and our Associated Student Government President this year and next year, and also our temporary trustee when he goes off to UCLA, Emmanuel Gomez is here. This is, so I'm at Pasadena City College, but I actually live in Assemblymember's district in Camarillo. And I was the executive vice president at Oxnard for 5 years. And when I arrived in 2009, we were teaching ESL 8 levels below college, which meant that a student had a 4% chance of getting to college, to English 101, if they started our ESL sequence. By the time I left, thanks to the board and thanks to faculty who were very passionate, that had gotten up to 2 levels below, but for many years, a campus with 77% Latinx population, 4% chance of getting in. So this is really important work. And it's important at places like Oxnard, it's important at places like Pasadena City College, and everywhere you all are. For Pasadena City College, we increased the number of students who went into transfer level English starting in 2019 by 1,000 students. 400 additional students completed their classes. And what it shows is that if you put students in transfer level work, if you put the bar here, they will rise to it. And what it demonstrates is that we're serious about showing students right from the moment they come to us, you are capable. Not only are we going to put you in English, in college level math and English, we're going to put you in college level classes in general. And students have risen to the challenge, and we have amazing outcomes, not just Pasadena City College, but all of your colleges. And it's possible because we not only have what we see face-to-face, but we also have individuals in the legislature, in the governor's office, in the board of governors, helping us do what's right for students. So it's an absolute honor for me to accept this award on behalf of Pasadena City College with 2 of my rock star students right here. And thank you to the Campaign for College Opportunity.
Thank you, President Androjonas. You remind us that, you know, when we share these statistics, and I love data, you know, we can't forget that there are real people, real students, real experiences behind every single one of those numbers. And so that's the power of this work. All of you who know the Campaign for College Opportunity know that we don't recognize or celebrate just access broadly without looking at equity specifically. And so the next set of honorees are campuses that have done an incredible job around not only excellence in placement, but ensuring equity for their students, for Latinx and Black students specifically. And so I'm thrilled to celebrate these campuses that have achieved that distinction in terms of ensuring that at least 70% of their Latinx students who enrolled in transfer level English courses, that they successfully complete those courses within that first year. So join me in recognizing Lake Tahoe Community College, Mendocino College, Solano Community College, Woodland Community College, and as the top in this particular category, Southwestern College. President Mark Sanchez has driven all the way from Chula Vista to provide remarks and tell us how it's done.
Thank you, Michelle. And to our student leaders, I just want to acknowledge you and say thank you. I'm going to have to go back to my campus and tell our students and our faculty that finals are no excuse for you not to come up with me to this event. You know, obviously other colleges were able to bring their students. But thank you, Michelle. I was asked to answer a couple of questions, but before I do that, I want to say a little bit about Southwestern College specifically. We are a college of about 24,000 headcount students currently. And depending on where you start from campus, we're about 7 miles from the U.S.-Mexico border, so 7 miles from Tijuana. And that's important because we recognize that we are a $250 billion regional economy between Baja California, Tijuana, and San Diego County. So that represents tremendous opportunities in terms of jobs of the future and how education creates a pathway to those opportunities that are going to allow people to live a better lifestyle. So with that about the college, I was asked to answer a question: how has equitable placement transformed Southwestern College? And I would be remiss not to say that it was really the courage. I know the Assemblywoman talked about courage. It was the courage of our faculty to look at and disaggregate data at a faculty level, at a department level, and determine how are our students doing by course and where are there opportunities to improve professional development. It takes courage to look at the class level data. At many colleges you'll hear, well, we can't do that. We don't want to upset the faculty, or we don't want to feel like we're putting a spotlight on faculty. But our faculty and our department, our English department, really exercise courage in terms of saying, no, we need to look at the data. 20% of our students in 2015 were completing transfer level English in a 4-year window. Inexcusable. So the courage of our faculty to really look at department level data, faculty level data, and really work to create a culture of high expectation with high support really changed the paradigm on equitable placement and really saw the students from a value perspective versus what they didn't bring into the institution. So it was a complete shift in the narrative. And so for that, I really wanted our faculty to be here today because to have those types of conversations can be tough at times. And let's be real, we don't have 100% consensus, but we can have that conversation and we can have it collegially, and we can have it with the focus on ensuring that our students have the most expeditious pathway to completion as possible. And then the second question I was asked to answer was, why is it important for students to have access to transfer level courses early in their educational careers? And one of the things, having a counseling background, that I've heard over the last 22 years in my career, every college I've been at, and I've been at 5 different California community colleges over the last 22 years, every student has asked, if I take 12 to 15 units, how quickly can I get to either transfer or my certificate or into the workforce? Students want to get through their program as expeditiously as possible, and it's up to us to help them get there. San Diego County recently, for the first time, has surpassed San Francisco and Los Angeles as the most expensive county in California to live in. So with that, students don't have time from an economic perspective to waste time in their educational pathways. So for that, working through our CCAP dual enrollment, working intentionally to build a pipeline from 9th through 12th grade and then into our college, trying to create a pathway. And I know Pam knows this really, really well, because at Cuesta we were serving, 4,000 students, CCAP dual enrollment every semester. And many of our students were graduating with their Associate of Arts degrees at our May commencement, and 3 weeks later graduating from their local high school. So building that pathway to completion early and giving students that high expectation, high support network is critical in increasing student success. So thank you for having us, Michelle. We really appreciate you.
Thank you. So we're going to continue. Next, we're honoring the campuses that get a distinction, an equity distinction in placing at least 60% of their Latinx students who enrolled in transfer level math, ensuring that they complete that transfer level math. So join me in celebrating College of the Siskiyous. Mendocino. And our top honoree in that category is West Hills Coalinga, Dr. Sam Unai, to provide remarks. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. I appreciate it. On behalf of our president, Dr. Tweed, she was not able to be here, but I don't know if you know, but West Hills College Coalinga is in the Central Valley. And if you drive through the I-5, if you blink, you will miss it. And so because we probably have more almond trees and more cows than anything else. And so, but we are appreciative of this opportunity. We were asked similar questions about how is this equitable placement transforming our college? Similar in essence that it helps us to change our framework in how we view each other, but also how we view students from a growth mindset. Knowing that many of our students come from economically disadvantaged backgrounds, and so they already come with that deficit mindset. And then when we are placing them in transfer level math and English, allows us to know that they can do it, and they have been able to do it. And it allows us as a college to also view each other in the same format, because when you have that growth mindset, make things happen. And so we're appreciative of the opportunity for us as a college to use these vehicles to transform the way we do things and how we culturally change the way we look at each other. The other element is, what does it mean? It means that there's more work to be done. We have a lot more to be done in regards to success, but at the same time, we often look at enrollment, and I don't like that term enrollment because it makes us look at as numbers. And so one of the things that we look at is it's completion. Do not talk about enrollment, let's talk about completion. When we talk about completion, we're talking about individual students. And so that's one of the things that we're trying to change in the way we transform, in the way we look at things, and the way we view things. And so this award helps us to make sure that we continue and to do more to support our students. So thank you.
I love that point about talking about completion, and it's, I'm sure, no coincidence that given that you talk about completion at your campus, you've received a completion recognition today. So thank you. Thank you for your work. Next, I'm thrilled to celebrate 3 more honorees in this equity distinction category in transfer level math. So these campuses are receiving this recognition for ensuring that 100% of their Latinx students enroll directly into transfer level math coursework. Join me in applauding Pasadena City College, Porterville, and Feather River. Now for our Equity Distinction Awards in Black Transfer Level Math Success. These campuses have earned this recognition because they've supported at least 60% of their Black students who enrolled in transfer level math to successfully complete that course within a year of enrollment. So join me in applauding College of the Sequoias, Saracoso, Norco, and the top honoree in this category, Dr. Elizabeth Correa from Cuesta College, will provide some remarks.
Hello, everyone. On behalf of Cuesta College and Dr. Jill Stearns, our president, who was unable to be here today, it is an incredible honor to be able to receive this award, so thank you. Again, we were asked to answer a few questions as well as how equitable placement is transforming our campuses. I was an associate vice chancellor at a previous institution which will remain nameless, but very similar to Pasadena City College, it would take our ESL students 6 years just to get through the ESL sequence, to even get to, right, the basic class. So this type of reforms that we're seeing on our campuses right now are so critical, and they're important for the work that we're doing, and to even think that we're having these conversations and discussions, right? There are challenges, collegial challenges, can agree and disagree, But if we think back maybe 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, where we would be even be able to have these conversations on our campuses, right? And the work that is happening right now is showing that transformational work and that it is equating to the success of our students. And then we have to continue that work, right, and looking at the success of our students. Why is it important for students to have access to transfer level work? Again, we were all students. We're all higher educators, right? We were all students at some point. We didn't want to be there any longer. I knew I didn't want to, and I was in my doctoral program, very similar, said, how long does it need to take me? What's the shortest time frame that I need to be able to get in and get out so that I can actually go out, get my degree, start my career to be able to support my family? Very similar to our students. That's why it's so important for us to create those pathways, to remove those barriers from our students to be able to be successful to get in, and being very intentional with access, but then the support services. Not from a support student services only, but our curriculum and our instruction in our classrooms. So this is an institutional reform that we all have to play a part in to be able to support our students from beginning to from their doing their application, through their registration, through be able to get through their classes successfully. Some of the, again, intention is creating those supports. We have created a university-bound program that specifically looks at disproportionate students and how we can get them in and get them the support if they are falling down in their courses, if they're at chance at risk. We are then putting all the support systems to make sure that our students are getting the need that they need to be able to complete their programs. So the work that we're doing, again, it's amazing to see and to hear all of the schools of what they're doing and the best practices that's coming out of this. So again, we want to thank you so much for this opportunity to be here, and thank you all.
Imagine 6 years just to get to a college level course. And that is one of the many reasons we're doing this work and celebrating you for your courage to do this work. So the next set of honorees are those that earn an equity distinction for Black transfer level math enrollment for our students. So we congratulate these students who have successfully supported 100% of their Black students to enroll directly into transfer level math coursework. So join me in applauding again Pasadena City College, Orange Coast College, and again College of the Sequoias. Now, in terms of English success for Black students, congratulations to these campuses who made sure that at least 70% of their Black students who enrolled in transfer level English successfully completed that course within a year of enrollment. So please applaud for Hartnell, Santa Barbara City College, College of San Mateo, Palomar College, College of Alameda. And then I love this long list, equity distinction for Black transfer level English enrollment. We have 25 campuses in the community college system that have supported 100% of their Black students to enroll in transfer level English coursework. Again, if they tell you it cannot be done, these 25 campuses can tell you, yes, it can. First, Moreno Valley, Pasadena City, Coastline Community, College of the Canyons, Contra Costa, Fullerton, Palomar, Clovis Community, Cuyamaca, College of San Mateo, Allen Hancock, Foothill. Keep applauding, don't get tired. These campuses are doing an incredible job. Butte, College of the Sequoias, Santa Barbara City, Reedley, West Los Angeles, College of the Siskiyous, Berkeley City, Folsom Lake, Bakersfield, Irvine Valley, Hartnell, Yuba, and Sarah Koso. Again, each of you, thank you so much. And to the colleges that weren't able to join us today, Allen Hancock, Berkeley City, Coastline Community College, College of the Sequoias, Diablo Valley College, Hartnell, Moreno Valley College, Palomar College, Saddleback, Santa Barbara City, San Diego Miramar, Santa Ana College, and Skyline College, thank you for everything that you are doing for your students. Now it's my time to invite one of my personal heroes, one of our nation's biggest civil rights champions, one of the few incredible folks to argue before the U.S. Supreme Court, the longtime president and general counsel of the Mexican American Legal Defense and Educational Fund, an organization that co-founded the Campaign for College Opportunity, because we know that we have to fight to ensure that all students have access to higher education and can succeed, my good friend and hero, Tom Sines.
So thank you, Michelle. I never know how to react when you're introduced as long time anything. But it's my great pleasure to be here to congratulate all of the honored colleges, to thank Lieutenant Governor Kounalakis and Assemblymember Jacqui Irwin for their support of what you're doing, and they're taking steps to make it possible for even more of your colleagues to be here next year and the years beyond. But I want to pause for a moment and explain why I think this recognition is so critically important. Now, Michelle's talked about the fact that this has not been easy. You are all facing pushback. You're all facing opposition from probably folks that you've been colleagues of for a very long time. But that's why I think this is so important. Michelle mentioned that I have had the great personal honor of being associated with the Campaign for College Opportunity for a number of years, 12 years. But I've actually been an education advocate as a civil rights lawyer at MALDEF, and actually going back, like many of you, into my college and grad school years, when I, like many of you, was an activist, challenging administrations to make changes to achieve greater equity. So really, put all together, I've got close to 40 years as an education equity advocate. And one thing I've learned over those 40 years, well, after learning what I always knew, which is I have such great respect for all educators and education administrators, particularly those who make it clear every day that they are working to ensure greater equity, greater opportunity for all in our education systems. But, like all of you, I wouldn't be here after almost 40 years if we had achieved our success in equity in education. So there have been obstacles. I want to identify one here today, and that is what I have come to call the trickle-down deflection theory of education responsibility. Now, if you think about it, you all know what I'm talking about. When I was a student activist, we would go to the university and say, we want more Latina professors. And they would say, as you all know, in your minds right now, we would love to achieve that. We're with you, we believe in what you believe in, but you got to talk to the graduate schools. They're just not producing enough doctoral graduates to create faculty. So we would then go to the graduate schools. You need to admit more. And of course, they would say, we totally agree with you. We want to see that change in education, but you really got to talk to the undergraduate colleges because they're not producing enough graduate students to enter our programs. So you know how this goes. Last time you go to the colleges, you advocate for more admissions, and they say to you, we really are with you, would love to help you to achieve greater equity, but you really got to talk to the K-12 system because the inequities there mean that we don't get enough qualified applicants. So this trickle-down deflection theory of education responsibility is really, in my mind, tangibly epitomized by putting students into non-transfer level remedial courses that end up as dead ends for their education future. It's a way of demonstrating it's not our fault, it's the ones below us, the trickle-down deflection theory. So you are not only making strides as the college is in the lead in implementing this important legislation. You are not only in the lead in swimming against the tide, unfortunately, of too many of your fellow colleges, you are undermining what I consider to be the most damaging trickle-down deflection theory of education responsibility. That's why I am so proud to be here to join with the campaign and on behalf of the entire board in congratulating once more all of our College Award recipients. You are accomplishing tremendous, tremendous revolutionary change in education. And that's what the campaign is all about. So we're so happy to have you all here. Thank you, all of you in attendance. And please enjoy. We still have some more time for food, drink, and camaraderie. And maybe planning more undermining of other bad theories. Thank you all.